encourage everybody to take advantage of that.
I just wanted to maybe give out a little bit of information. If anybody is interested, I am a weather spotter up here in Colburn. I send my information into the NWS each day, and if you've heard of Kokorus out of Fort Collins, I send a rainfall total in every day if you're interested.
We are. We would like to have you connect with Andy Martzoff right there, raising his hand, before you leave today so that we can get your name and number. Thank you.
I'd just like to take it one step further. Of course, plan A would be that nothing would happen. But a plan B would be great to be in effect. And there's a lot of us here that may not live on the creek, but we have a lot of livestock. And so there's been many, many offers of, you can bring your cows or your horses or your equipment or whatever to a particular place. I think it'd be nice to have a coordinated effort that if indeed we do get the call, that we would know where each individual could go if need be.
Cultural concerns as an issue in this community. And Heather, did those flyers make their way up here today?
I'm sure they did.
Okay, so what we've done is I've done some coordination with the Tri-River Extension Service, who and specifically asked for contacts for coordinating issues related to livestock and agricultural issues and water issues. So they had prepared one sheet information sheet for us. I don't know if it made it up here tonight. It may have got left sitting on the printer.
It's here.
It's here? Okay. So, well, I don't know if it was
maybe, no, I guess that sheet's not.
Okay. Yeah, we'll make sure we get that information to Davis, and ask you to make it available somewhere or many places here in the community. So the Extension Service, which is part of the Colorado State University, is more than willing to help coordinate issues related to agriculture and livestock.
I understand that it's going to take time, but say this dries up and you get the water out of there, how long are you going to do anything to get rid of that embankment so years down the road it's not building up and we have to be worrying about that coming on down and getting the rest of our ranch? And what steps do we get to where we can start rebuilding, and what aid can we get?
Chuck, you want to help us with that one?
As the sheriff said, I'll try. We know you have more questions than we have answers. One of the reasons that we have an objective talking about agriculture is because I'm a rancher as well. We live north of Steamboat Springs on a ranch. I'm well tuned to agricultural issues and how they flow together. We haven't got all that set up yet, to answer your question, but we're looking at that. So we'll figure out, like Andy said, with the extension, we'll start with the agricultural organizations, figure out what is or isn't. We are, as you heard, the water resource people are here. The water commissioner's been with us ongoing and was on the mountain today. So we're starting to look at rights, water, how would we start to recover? Recovery's a lot. For not coming up here tonight, she's down in Grand Junction working on this project. So that's what I speak for her. So we're starting that long-term look on private land. What's recovery start to look like? Who's involved? What do we do about it? I would just share with you, and why I say it's a long-term event. Last September, the 24 counties in the Front Range went through a horrific flood event, and we're not done with it yet. We're still trying to put all the pieces together, agriculture being a big chunk of those. So we haven't lost track of it. As the sheriff said, it's one of the objectives for this team to keep figuring out and looking forward. And you'll get more information as we start moving forward on the how, who. I know that we can go down the road of a USDA agricultural declaration to help people. We're not quite there yet, but that's a tool that's out there for us to use. So stay tuned, and we'll obviously be back many more times to talk to this community in the short-term future. Is that
Specifically about that big block that's up there, I don't think we have an answer today for you, but it's an answer that we have asked ourselves, and it's on our, it's on our mind too, and we don't know what the long-term solution is, to be honest with you, and I think that's something that will continue to be part of what we're trying to find out.
Sheriff, a question from the audience that I'll field, and this is for Jeff. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate this event in Colorado?
I'm going to be a wonky scientist here and say, what part of the event?
The whole thing, I guess, you know, in terms of the slide itself, and is this a small slide, is it a medium-sized slide, is it a large slide?
It's a large slide. And best guess right now in terms of what flowed from the top to the bottom is about 30 million cubic meters, which if you want to use cubic yards, it's close. So that's large, but it's not as large as other things that have happened historically in the U.S. For example, Mount St. Helens, the whole side was blasted off, and it flowed out as a landslide. It was huge. I don't know that number, but you know, there was a landslide in 1985 in Utah, the Thistle landslide. Some of you probably remember that. Until recently, it was the costliest landslide in the U.S. I don't remember the volume of that one, but I think it was probably comparable, not too far from this one, maybe. We just had one up in Oso, Washington. For comparison, the best estimate of the volume on that one was 8 million cubic meters. Okay, we think what flowed here was 30 million cubic meters, and what's up at the top still is more on the order of 50 million cubic meters. So if that puts it in perspective, those are the kind of best examples I can think of in terms of quantifying it. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I have a question. Was the South Side Canal damaged in any way due to this slide?
We don't believe so. Okay, I'm guessing there's somebody here that managed it. Oh, Eric, okay. Yeah, best information we have is it was not.
Awesome.
I had a question about, is the town thinking about getting some early warning siren, be it our landslide, be it a bad thunderstorm, a fire in town? I heard that at one point in the past we had a siren, but we don't anymore. It would just kind of give a lot of us that fast warning rather than the reverse call.
It's my understanding that there was a siren here at one point. I'm not aware that it's still here. Our marshal's office, their police cars have sirens that we can use. They can use. They also have a loudspeaker, so they can make announcements as necessary. We've also talked, understood from the fire department, they could also use their equipment for sirens if we needed to have a loud noise to warn people. Again, that would be based on making sure we have good information and it's not a false alarm, because that creates other problems.
Every day, and it was lunchtime.
I have a question in regards to your another event. What are the time frames for telling us you need to get the hell out of Dodge?
Well, I think you heard from our that we have these we differentiate between short fuse events and long fuse events.
But what's the
And
actual time frame? Like minute, 5 minutes? Like, obviously closer or short. I understand the distance. Like
Right.
if you live in Salt Creek, what is the
Well,
time frame?
this is
to
the
look
piece.
down?
This is the piece that, again, I think we've talked about not having the answers to, is what will trigger an early warning system. And when we have the early warning system in place, activating it can be very quickly. We have pre-programmed messages, pre-programmed texts and emails, and it's a matter of pushing a button. The trick for us is what causes us to push the button, and that's what we're going to be working on.
I know we're just a small community, but for me, this is just another wake-up call about education for our young people and getting them to realize these are the type of people that they need to grow into. Danny was probably one of the finest young men I'd ever known, and closest to Catrice in the community, but my son is also an engineer. And one of the things that I learned, because I didn't pay attention in school and just wanted to do the muscle car thing, was I wanted to make sure that my kids had a good education and a good work ethic, and we're gonna need the kids that are in the school now to monitor type things like this in the future. So if nothing else, it's a wake-up call and a tribute to those that did sacrifice their lives.
Yes, sir, absolutely. One of the things that the sheriff's office is continuing to provide dedicated people up here for security reasons and trespass reasons and those kinds of things. So we want to continue to maintain that presence here. But in the interest of what was just said, we also really want to balance the people that want to come. We learned of, and it's too soon, but we learned of a van full of geology students that came from Fort Hays, Kansas to check this out. And it was on private property, they didn't get access, and it's too soon, it's appropriate. But this is a geological event that piques a lot of interest in the academic world, and those people that may want to come here, it'd be a shame if we don't give them the opportunity somehow or another to get to study this and have them grow into the people that are going to be up here answering questions just like Jeff and his colleagues.